Hi, my name is Consuelo Calderón, and today I'm going to interview.
Fabiola Rios.
Okay, so would you like telling me something about you?
Well, I moved to Canada. I'm Chilean, but I moved to Canada when I was 2 years old, and I lived in Canada for about 20 years. So all my early memories are of Canada. I don't remember living in Chile when I was younger. So I'm also a Canadian citizen, and I moved back to Chile. I moved here about 10 years ago.
Okay, why did you left Chile?
Why did we leave Chile? We left Chile in 1980 for political reasons. We had to leave Chile.
Okay. So, how was your brothers when you left?
My sister and my brother are older than me, so they remember leaving, they remember Chile, and for them it was hard because they moved to Canada when they were 14 and 12, so they started high school and they didn't speak English, so that was very difficult for them.
Right, because practically your language is English. You have to learn Spanish.
I mean, I already spoke Spanish when I left because I was 2, so I spoke a little. But my main language is English. My computer's in English. My cell phone's in English. I think in English.
Oh, you think in English?
I think in English. Unless I'm speaking, it's weird because if I'm speaking Spanish, I'm thinking in Spanish, and if I'm writing in Spanish, I'm thinking in Spanish. But if I'm just like walking home thinking, it's in English.
Oh, so how hard was learning Spanish?
I don't remember. I really don't remember because my parents in Canada always made sure that I spoke Spanish at home. Okay. We weren't allowed to speak English in our house, okay? So, and that was so we would forget our Spanish. So, and on Saturdays, I used to go, in Canada there was something called Heritage Language School, and it was the Ministry of Education. You could apply as a group of people, so we called it Escuela Chilena. So we would go on Saturdays, and we would have class in Spanish. They would teach us Spanish and Chilean history.
Oh, so you always were aware.
Yeah, I always spoke Spanish. And my parents put me in a school that was French.
Oh.
So I learned French since kindergarten. I don't really remember learning anything. I do remember being in daycare when I was in Canada. I have a small memory of not being able to say something in English. But that's it. I don't really remember the process of learning French or anything. I don't really.
So you speak 3 languages?
I speak 3 languages, yes.
But English is...
Yes, I mostly speak English.
Okay. So when you moved back to Chile, what were the things that, the most different things?
Oh my God, everything's different. I moved back here when I was, how old was I? I was 16 the first time. Okay, so 16, and I did grade 11 and 12. I finished high school here, and then I moved back to Canada. And at that point, Chile was very different. School, everything was different. Education was different. The way they taught math was different. Like everything is different. So for me, it was. I mean, I had a few months there that was hard to adjust to that change. But then I don't know. Then I liked it, I guess. But I think what's different mostly now is that people are here in Chile. Everybody's the same. Chilean people look the same, and they dress the same, and everything's the same. And so in Canada, we lived in a really big city in Toronto, and Toronto is very multicultural. It's the most multicultural city in the world. So everyone is from somewhere. Everybody's Canadian, but they ask you, the first question is like, hi, where are you from? And the answer to that question is, where are your parents from? Where are your grandparents from? Because everybody's from somewhere else. Nobody's from there.
Yes.
Yeah, it's weird to meet someone who's 100% Canadian, who has no family members from somewhere else. Everybody's from somewhere. So here, I think that the fact that everybody's the same, people they're more closed off to change. Like here now, the things they say about immigrants, that's because they're so used to everyone being the same.
Right.
So to me, that's different because in Canada, you're taught to not say those things. You're not supposed to speak bad about immigrants. You're not supposed to, you might say them at home, but you don't say them in public. So I think that's one of the things now that is kind of shocking when people say things, oh, Peruvian people or Colombian people or...
It happens a lot.
It happens a lot. Yeah, but to me that's shocking.
Besides that, what were the most shocking things culturally?
Culturally, I think...
like the things that were more hard to adjust here in Chile.
Okay, I think the fact that there's dogs and cats, stray dogs and cats on the street, it's hard to get used to it in the beginning because you feel so bad because you're not used to seeing it. What else? Shocking to me, now it's less, but when I first moved here 10 years ago, I always wear colors. And even in the winter I wear colors, and people would stare at me. People would look at me on the subway because I was wearing a pink jacket. And everybody's in black, and so those things were kind of shocking. I also, the fact that men say things to you, catcalling, that I've never gotten used to the catcalling. I've changed the way I dress because in Canada, you can be naked almost, and nobody's gonna look at you. Really, it's illegal for a woman to be topless. Nobody really does it, but you can. But nobody's gonna look at you. It's the other extreme. Like nobody looks at you. So, and never somebody's gonna yell at you on the street. So you can wear whatever you want, and you don't care. And so everybody wears whatever they want. And you'll see in the summer, like teenagers in their bra on the subway. Yes, and nothing happens. So to me, that's shocking. To be worried, you have to worry about people, men, saying things to you, bothering you on the subway. Yeah, so I think that's the worst part, I think.
And besides that one, what are the most different things between the way people treat women in Canada?
And here? I think personally, since I have a company and I work in business, it happens that here in Chile, it's still acceptable for a man in a workplace to give you like a nickname or to call you corazón or to call you to like bring you down, and that's not okay. That's I have a name, and we don't do that to men.
Right.
I used to have somebody. I used to work here with someone that we were at the same level. We were both bosses, and he was a man. And so the people who were below us, one woman one day, she would always call him boss. She would call him jefe. And one day she called me Fabi. And I was just like, wait, stop. Like, you don't have to call me jefa, but you cannot call me a nickname. My name is Fabiola. You can't. And so that's perfectly okay. People don't really. I call sometimes companies. That happened to me yesterday. That's why I remember. And the person on the phone, that isn't my client. He works for my client. I usually talk to the owner of the company, but this is an employee. And when he said, "Okay, corazón," and I'm just like, I'm not your corazón, but I can't say that because he's sort of my client. But I think it's the little things. I don't think there's big differences, but those little things, I think those little things really, or the fact that people here wear uniforms. You know how you go to companies and all the women wear uniforms, but the men don't wear uniforms?
No,
it happens. It happens that, I have a client also, that because the people who are, all the secretaries and all that kind of people, but they're all women. Right? And so there's one girl that's in marketing, and her whole team, she's with the computer, the IT people, and another, none of them wear uniforms, but since she's a woman, they make her wear the uniform. So all the secretaries wear a uniform, and she wears a uniform. And I'm like, but she's an executive.
Right.
So it's those little things. It's the little things that kind of bring you down. It's the words, and I think also like the clothing.
Like men worry about your clothing.
Yes, and as women here especially, you have to like cover up.
Yeah. So otherwise it's like bad scene. Like it's not okay.
It's not okay to be. You can't wear a mini skirt to work. No.
School sounds have some like you have to wear certain clothes, but like until certain like it can be too short, it can be too long. But it's because because of that. I've heard that you consider yourself a feminist. Is that true?
Yes, I think I was born a feminist.
Why?
Why? That's a good question. Why am I a feminist? I don't know. It's like natural to me. I mean, I think I grew up in a family of feminists. I don't think I did. My sister's a feminist. My mother's a feminist. But I think it sort of came naturally to me, the idea that we're the same. And yes, and that society makes us different. And I've never thought, and especially me, because I have a very strong personality and I've always been a leader, it happens that I have these moments where people try to bring me, I know I have moments, I have experiences that only happen to me because I'm a woman. And like that's not, and I don't think that's okay. So to me, that's what my desire is, that men and women have equal opportunities. I mean, I'm not talking about equality because we're different, so it would mean different things. But I think, for example, if a man wanted to be a kindergarten teacher, parvulario, that doesn't exist. Like, nobody's gonna be like, oh, you're weird. And it's not. A man can like kids and be a good, or a man might want to stay home and take care of his kids. And I think everybody should have the right to do whatever they want with their lives and do whatever they think is positive, right? So I think it just comes naturally to me. And then, like, as I got older, I had a word for it. But I remember when I was little, I didn't like pink because pink was supposed to be for girls. And I didn't want anything that was off, like, to me that was like I was being forced to like pink.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.